David Warren, a known member of the notorious Black Guerilla Family gang, sentenced to 45 years in prison Tuesday, 12 years more than what prosecutors were asking for. Chief Judge James Bradar telling prosecutors, "I don't believe 33 years is a correct sentence," adding Warren has a lack of respect for life and is a clear and present danger to the public. Warren pleading guilty in July of 2024 to federal racketeering conspiracy, admitting to being involved in the murder of 3 innocent people, Shanette Neal, Justice Allen, and Brian McKemmy, a construction worker renovating the home of an original gang hit target. McKemmy's father, Scott McKemmy, telling Fox 45 News he finally feels heard.
Even though he didn't get life, he got 4 decades, so.
Especially since Wayne Prince, another BGF member, was sentenced to 28 years in prison in the contract killing that left Brian McKemmy dead.
I knew the name David Warren 9 days after my son was killed. He was arrested, but the city never did charge him. I've been fighting for this thing for 6 years, and finally the feds listened and brought federal charges against him.
Federal prosecutors say Warren and a co-conspirator targeted 2 other gang rivals. When Warren and the others went to the target's house and found his mother and sister, Neal and Allen, the women, quote, were then executed in cold blood. Warren admitting to being involved and was paid for the hit. Officers found shell casings, later matching a gun seen in this photo found on Warren's cell phone. Court documents reveal the photo taken mere hours from the double murder perpetrated later that day. Diving deeper into the court records, Warren admitted to participating in BGF meetings in 2015 here at this now shuttered Safe Streets site along East Monument Street. The Safe Streets location managed by Living Classrooms at the time. The court documents detail 2 BGF members who attended the meetings at the Safe Streets site were employed by Safe Streets as violence interrupters. During the late spring and summer of 2015, Warren says he and other BGF members used the site as a de facto BGF clubhouse, storing drugs, guns, and plotted violent crimes on behalf of the gang. But that's not all. 6 people were indicted in 2022, tying BGF to murder, shootings, armed robberies, and drug trafficking. Tyrell Jeffries pleaded guilty to federal racketeering conspiracy too. He also admitted to attending meetings for the notorious gang at the Safe Streets site. One of the hits Jeffries was involved in was against a rival gang member in May of 2015 at the intersection of North Rose and East Monument Streets, just on the block from the Safe Streets site. 2 years later, Jeffries admits to selling cocaine on the 2400 block of East Monument. Ricky Evans pleaded guilty in 2018 to federal charges admitting to storing guns and drugs at the McElderry Park Safe Streets site. Federal investigators claim Evans was a high-ranking BGF member. Detailed in his plea agreement, Evans operated a murder-for-hire scheme. In 2021, Ronald Alexander sentenced to 11 years in prison for federal drug charges. Court documents show a photo of Alexander wearing a Safe Streets shirt holding what prosecutors say was a bag of drugs. Prosecutors go on to say he was using his Safe Streets job to try and stop investigators from tracking him. October 2022, Vernon Harper guilty on federal drug charges. Court documents indicate Harper admitted to possessing fentanyl intended to distribute, and at the time of the crimes was working as a violence interrupter at the Brooklyn Safe Streets site. Harper sentenced to 18 months in federal prison, released in July 2023. All of this information coming to light from court documents, not from leaders inside City Hall.
Transparency for every city program, especially Safe Streets, is critical.
Unless named in court documents or the workers have died, the public usually doesn't know the names of the violence interrupters. David Williams, president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance, argues taxpayers deserve to know who is being hired as Safe Streets workers. And it's up to the mayor and other leaders to meet that demand.
And when you're looking at Safe Streets, a program that has been under the microscope for a number of years, it's critical that Safe Streets, that they take this initiative.
A demand that has yet to be met. We also have the ongoing FBI investigation following their execution of a search warrant at the Bel Air Edison Safe Streets location last October, almost a year ago now. It's unclear exactly the scope of that investigation, the feds keeping a tight lip on the probe. However, sources close to the investigation tell Fox 45 News it could be connected to possible BGF affiliation. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost. Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.